Picked up a call from a man I barely knew, my wife's coworker, whispering, "She's in the ER. Please come." I got there as fast as I could, but the nurse at the desk looked up and asked, "Are you the boyfriend?" I exhaled, smirked, and said, "No, I'm the husband." The stunned silence that followed was the last thing I heard before walking away. I never thought a single phone call could change my life so drastically. It was a regular Tuesday evening in our Chicago apartment. The sun had set, casting a dim glow through the blinds as I sat on the couch, flipping through channels without much interest. The aroma of the dinner Sarah had prepared still lingered in the air, a mix of roasted chicken and herbs. Our cat, Whiskers, purred softly beside me, her warm body curled up against my leg. Sarah, my wife of 8 years, was on the late shift at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. As a dedicated nurse, she often worked odd hours, and I had grown accustomed to spending evenings alone. We had met during our college years at the University of Illinois, and our bond had only strengthened over time. Her passion for her job was one of the many things I admired about her. The sudden buzz of my phone on the coffee table broke the silence. I glanced at the screen, noting an unfamiliar number. Hesitating for a moment, I decided to answer, thinking it might be one of Sarah's colleagues or perhaps a wrong number. "Hello?" I greeted, my voice steady but curious. A man's voice, barely above a whisper, responded. "Is this Daniel Thompson?" "Yes, who's this?" I asked, sitting up straighter, a sense of unease creeping in. "I'm Michael Reed. I work with your wife, Sarah, at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. There's been an incident. She's in the ER. Please come." The room seemed to blur around me. My grip tightened on the phone. "What happened?" I demanded, already reaching for my jacket draped over the armrest. "She collapsed during her shift. The doctors are with her now," Michael replied, his tone laced with urgency. "I'm on my way," I said, ending the call abruptly. The drive to the hospital was a haze of red lights and honking horns. My mind raced with worst-case scenarios. Sarah had always been the picture of health. What could have caused her to collapse so suddenly? Was it exhaustion? An underlying condition we were unaware of? The thought of losing her was unbearable. Upon arrival, I parked haphazardly near the emergency entrance, not bothering with the parking garage. The bright fluorescent lights of the hospital contrasted sharply with the dark night sky. I rushed through the sliding doors, the sterile smell of antiseptics immediately assaulting my senses. Approaching the front desk, I tried to steady my breathing. A nurse with short blonde hair and kind eyes looked up from her computer. "I'm here for Sarah Thompson," I said, my voice betraying my anxiety. She glanced at her screen, typing quickly. After a moment, she looked back at me, a hint of hesitation in her eyes. "Are you the boyfriend?" she asked. I exhaled sharply, a smirk tugging at the corner of my mouth despite the gravity of the situation. "No," I corrected her. "I'm the husband." The stunned silence that followed was palpable. The nurse's eyes widened slightly before she quickly masked her surprise. "Right this way," she said, standing up and gesturing for me to follow. As we walked through the maze of corridors, my mind replayed her reaction. Why would she assume I was the boyfriend? Was there something I didn't know? The walls were lined with various medical posters, and the occasional beeping of monitors echoed from nearby rooms. We reached a curtained-off area where Sarah lay on a hospital bed, her face pale against the stark white sheets. Electrodes were attached to her chest, monitors displaying her vital signs. An IV drip was connected to her arm, delivering a clear fluid. A doctor, appearing to be in his late 40s with graying hair and a calm demeanor, stood at the foot of the bed, reviewing her chart. "Mr. Thompson?" he addressed me, looking up from the clipboard. "Yes." "How is she?" I asked, stepping closer to the bed, my eyes never leaving Sarah's face. "She experienced a severe allergic reaction, leading to anaphylaxis. We stabilized her, but she'll need to be monitored for the next 24 hours. Do you know if she has any known allergies?" he inquired. I shook my head, confusion evident. Not that I'm aware of. She's never had any allergic reactions before. The doctor nodded, making a note in the chart. Sometimes allergies can develop unexpectedly. We'll run some tests to determine the exact cause. In the meantime, it's crucial she gets rest. I moved to the side of the bed, taking her cold hand in mine. The steady beep of the heart monitor was both reassuring and haunting. Hours passed in a blur. Nurses came and went, checking her vitals, adjusting the foredrip, and making notes. I remained by her side, the hard plastic chair offering little comfort. Memories of our life together flooded my mind, the day we met, our wedding, the plans we had for the future. Sometime in the early hours of the morning, Sarah's eyelids fluttered open. Her brown eyes, though weary, met mine. For a brief moment, a flicker of something, guilt, crossed her face before she offered a weak smile. "Hey," she whispered, her voice raspy. "Hey yourself," I replied, squeezing her hand gently. "You scared me." Sarah blinked slowly, like she was trying to piece together where she was and how she ended up there. I stayed quiet, letting her gather herself. Her eyes scanned the room, machines, curtains, tubes, then landed on me again. "Daniel," she started, her voice cracking. "I'm here," I said, brushing a strand of hair off her forehead. "You're okay now." "But what happened?" She opened her mouth, then stopped. Looked away. That flicker again in her eyes. Something wasn't right. Not just physically. There was something else. Something she wasn't saying. Before I could press her, the curtains slid open behind me. It was him. Michael Reed. Younger than me, probably early 30s. Tall, dark hair, sharp jawline. He looked like a guy straight out of a hospital drama show. He wasn't wearing scrubs anymore, just jeans and a hoodie, but he still had that air of someone who belonged here. "Sarah," he said softly. His eyes met hers. He didn't even look at me. She gave him a faint smile. "Hey." I stood up. "Michael, right?" He finally turned to me. "Yeah. I'm sorry for the confusion earlier. I thought you should know what happened." I didn't answer. I just nodded. The silence between the three of us was thick. He looked at Sarah again and said, "I'll let you rest. I'll check in later." Sarah just nodded. He left as quickly as he came. I turned back to her. "How well do you know him?" She closed her eyes. "Sarah," I said, firmer now. "How well do you know him?" A tear slipped down her cheek. "Daniel, I need to tell you something." My stomach dropped. I backed up and sat down again. My hands were clammy. She kept her eyes on the ceiling. "It wasn't supposed to happen. I never planned it. It just did." "You and him?" I asked, already knowing the answer. She nodded slowly. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. "How long?" "5 months," she said, her voice almost inaudible. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. My mind was spinning. The hospital room felt too small. "I can't believe this," I said. 5 months? And you let me sit here thinking you were dying? I didn't plan for you to find out like this," she whispered. "You didn't plan for me to find out at all," I snapped. "Let me guess, he's not just a coworker, is he? Does he know you're married?" She turned her face away. He didn't at first." I stood up again, pacing now. "Of course he didn't. Why would he stick around if he knew?" I wanted to yell. I wanted to scream. But I kept my voice low because we were in a hospital. Because I didn't want to be that guy yelling at a patient. "You brought him into your life. Into our life. And now he's calling me like he's the one who belongs here?" She said nothing. "You don't get to cry right now," I said coldly. "You don't get to play the victim." "I'm not," she said. "I know I'm the one who messed up." "Do your coworkers know?" I asked. Was this some open secret? She hesitated, then said, "Some of them might have suspected." God. The humiliation hit harder than the betrayal. imagining nurses and doctors giving me pitying looks, thinking they knew something I didn't. I walked over to the window. The sky was starting to lighten, soft blues pushing out the night. I didn't know what time it was, and I didn't care. I don't even know what to do with this, I said, not turning around. You could have just told me. I didn't want to hurt you, she said. I laughed, bitter. That ship sailed the minute you brought him into our marriage. There was a knock on the wall frame. It was a young nurse this time, her eyes wide, clearly sensing tension. Sorry to interrupt. Just need to check vitals. I stepped aside. As she worked, I sat down again, staring at the floor. The nurse glanced between us but didn't say a word. After she left, it was quiet again. Then Sarah said something I didn't expect. I think I might be pregnant. I looked at her slowly. What? She looked terrified. I haven't taken a test yet. But I'm late. And I'm scared. Jesus, Sarah. She shook her head quickly. I don't know if it's yours or his. I felt like everything inside me shattered at once. I stood, grabbed my jacket, and said, I need to get out of here. She reached for me weakly. Daniel, I'll come back later, I said. If I come back at all. I walked out without looking back. My heart was pounding so loud it drowned out every sound. I passed Michael in the hallway. He was sitting alone, head down, scrolling on his phone. I didn't stop. I didn't say a word. I just walked past like he didn't exist. Outside, the morning air hit me like ice. I leaned against the wall and stared up at the sky. Everything had changed in less than 12 hours. I didn't go home. I couldn't. Not with that bombshell still echoing in my head. I don't know if it's yours or his. That line sat in my chest like a brick. I ended up in my car in the hospital parking garage, just sitting there, the silence buzzing in my ears. I thought maybe I'd cry. Maybe scream. But nothing came. Just this cold, empty stillness. A few hours passed. My phone buzzed a couple times, one missed call from an unknown number, and then a text from Sarah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Please talk to me. I put the phone face down. I didn't want more words from her. Then another buzz. Michael doesn't know about the baby, or that you know everything now. Please, just let me handle it. That's when something shifted in me. She was still trying to manage it all. Still trying to control the fallout. Even now, even after the truth dropped like a grenade, she was still curating the narrative. I turned the phone back over and scrolled through old photos, vacations, birthdays, us on the couch with Whiskers asleep on Sarah's lap. Our life looked perfect from the outside. Like a catalog. All smiles, filtered lighting, dinners out, weekend road trips. It hit me that there were likely photos of her and Michael too. Secret ones? The kind you hide in private albums, or maybe keep in a burner folder labeled something dumb like documents. My stomach churned. Then, another twist. As I sat there, the screen lit up with another message. From Michael. Daniel, can we talk? Please. I just found out. Found out what, exactly? I called him. He answered fast. Daniel. I didn't know. About you. I didn't know she was married until tonight. You found out in the ER? I asked, voice flat. Yeah. When the nurse asked if I was the boyfriend, and you said you were her husband. That's when it all clicked. She always avoided questions about her personal life. Said it was complicated. I didn't say anything. Just let the silence sit. Then he added something that caught me off guard. I'm not just some guy she hooked up with. He said. I thought we were serious. She told me she was getting a divorce. What? I snapped. She said you were separated. Living in the same place but basically done. That she was just waiting for the right time to finalize it. That didn't make sense. We were sleeping in the same bed every night. We had plans. Grocery lists. I had just surprised her with a weekend getaway to Lake Geneva 2 weeks ago. You sure about that? I asked. I have texts. Emails. She said she was scared of how you'd react if she told you. I laughed bitterly. Yeah, because lying and cheating is a great alternative. I'm not defending her, he said quickly. I feel used too. Look, man, I wouldn't have touched her if I knew. I swear. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Everyone was trying to play the victim. Everyone had a version of the story where they didn't mean to hurt anyone. Then he dropped the next bomb. She told me she'd lost a baby last month, he said quietly. Did you know about that? No, I said, stunned. I only found out a couple weeks ago. She was crying about it one night, said it was a miscarriage. Said it might have been mine. My jaw clenched. I didn't know she was even pregnant. I think she was hiding it from both of us, he said. I'm sorry. I really am. I hung up. This was worse than I imagined. Sarah hadn't just cheated. She had been building a whole other life behind my back. Lying to both of us. Playing both ends. Even using something as tragic as a miscarriage as part of the act. It made me wonder how much of anything we shared had been real. I went back inside, not because I forgave her or even because I wanted to see her, but because I needed answers. The kind you can only get when you look someone in the eye. She was awake, sitting up now, sipping water. Her face lit up when she saw me. That made me sick. We need to talk, I said coldly. Her smile faded. I thought you wouldn't come back. I spoke to Michael. Her eyes widened. Oh, I repeated. Yeah. He told me everything. About what you said. About the divorce lie. About the miscarriage. She looked down, silent. Was it true? I asked. Were you pregnant last month? She nodded, eyes wet. Was it mine? I asked. I don't know, she whispered. You never told me. Why? I didn't want to lose both of you. I stood there, arms crossed, staring at the woman I thought I knew. She looked like a stranger in a hospital gown, wrapped in lies, still trying to manage the fallout. You lost both of us anyway, I said. Congratulations. But then, another knock on the frame. This time, an older woman. Sharp suit. Stern face. Clipboard in hand. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson? She asked. I'm here from the hospital's HR department. We received an anonymous report earlier this morning. I need to ask you both some questions regarding professional misconduct between staff members. Sarah's face drained of color. What? I asked. There are concerns about a relationship that may have violated hospital policies. The woman continued. Your wife's conduct is under review. That's when Sarah's hands started to tremble. And suddenly, it made sense. The collapse, the stress, the lies, it wasn't just about hiding the affair from me. Someone had found out. Someone had reported it. And now, she was in danger of losing everything. And something told me, it wasn't Michael who made the report. It might have been someone else. Someone who knew more than they were letting on. The HR woman. Janice, according to her name badge, stepped fully into the room, her clipboard clutched tightly to her chest. Her voice was polite but firm, like someone who'd done this 100 times and didn't enjoy it one bit. Sarah Thompson, you're currently under internal investigation due to a report filed by an anonymous staff member regarding an inappropriate relationship with a colleague. There are serious concerns of a conflict of interest and potential violation of hospital ethics policies. Sarah blinked fast, the color draining from her already pale face. What? Janice looked between us, clearly aware of the tension in the room but not interested in unpacking the domestic side of this circus. I'll need to speak with you and Mr. Reed separately, she continued. Off the record for now. But please understand this could affect your employment status. I didn't move, just watched Sarah squirm. She looked like she was about to pass out again. When? She whispered. I'll be back this afternoon with a supervisor. Please be prepared. Janice said before turning on her heel and leaving. The moment the door clicked shut, the room exploded. Did you know this was coming? She hissed at me. Seriously? I barked. You think I reported you? You said you talked to Michael. What did you say to him? Maybe don't even try to spin this. I snapped. You lied to both of us. You were building two lives and now both are crashing down. She looked like she was about to cry again. I didn't care. You want to know who probably reported you? I added. Maybe one of the nurses who saw you two flirting like a couple of teenagers. Maybe someone finally got sick of watching the train wreck in slow motion. Sarah looked down. Her voice was small. I messed up. You think? I laughed bitterly. You didn't just cheat. You lied to me, to him, to your job. And now you might lose everything. The door opened again. This time Michael stood there. I got the call too, he said grimly. About HR. He looked at Sarah. Why didn't you tell me about the marriage? About the pregnancy? About any of this? Sarah opened her mouth, then closed it again. Her lip trembled. I thought you were different, Michael continued. I really did. But I was just the other guy. I was a placeholder while you kept playing house with him. Don't talk to her like that, I said instinctively. He looked at me. You defending her now? No, I said quietly. But I'm not going to let her get torn apart in front of me, even after all this. That silenced the room. Sarah finally spoke. I thought I could control it. That I could fix it before it went too far. Michael's jaw clenched. We were never a mistake to me. I didn't say that, she whispered. But I was never going to be your whole life, he said. You were just making space for me in the cracks. That line hit hard. He turned to leave, paused, then looked at me. I'm sorry, man. I really am. I gave him a nod. That was all I could do. Once he was gone, Sarah broke down. Completely. Sobs racked her body. I didn't know what I wanted. I was scared. You should have been honest, I said, quieter now. You should have come to me the moment things felt wrong. She nodded through her tears. I wanted to be enough for you, she said, voice thick. I didn't plan on falling for him. But you did. She nodded again. I can't trust you, I said, the words burning as I spoke them. And without trust, there's nothing left. She reached out for my hand, and for a second, I almost gave it. But I didn't. Instead, I stood. I'll send someone to pick up my things. She didn't fight it. She just cried harder. As I walked out of the room, I passed a nurse, one of the younger ones. She looked at me with something between pity and understanding. She's not the first to do this, the nurse said quietly. And you won't be the last guy who didn't see it coming. I gave her a nod, feeling weirdly comforted. Outside, the sky had turned bright. The day had started. I stood on the curb, letting the sun hit my face, and I breathed deep for the first time in what felt like forever. What I felt wasn't relief. Not quite anger anymore either. It was clarity. Sarah had made her choices. Michael had too. And now I had to make mine. I wasn't sure what came next. Therapy? A lawyer? Maybe time alone. But I knew I couldn't go back. Not to that apartment. Not to that life. Not to her. Some things can be patched. Others need to be torn down completely. And maybe that's what love is sometimes. A slow demolition. Would I ever trust again? I didn't know. Would I forgive her? Maybe someday. But for now, I was just walking away. And that was enough. 8 years gone in a single night. Not because of a single mistake, but because of 1,000 little choices made in the dark. People talk about betrayal like it's a knife in the back. But sometimes, it's a quiet closing of doors behind you. One by one. Until you're alone, and you don't even remember when it started. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just awake.